What's up, guys? Joel Vallie from Media Glitch here, and I am not alone. We got an exciting episode for you. We got the stream team here, but I'll introduce them in a second because we always give priority to our guest first. And our guest here, up here atop, is the one, the only Jay Gleez. How are you, Jay?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Gaming with Glees is his channel, so go check that out. In the comment section down below, let us know which one you think is going to be better. Is it going to be Street Fighter 6, Mortal Kombat 1, or Tekken 8? Let us know. And we also have the Kag Man.
Yo, what's up? I'm happy to be here.
And the Radical is Reggie on the planet, Radical Reggie. And today we wanted to talk about, okay, what a year for fighting games, okay? We wanted to talk about what do we think is going to be better. Is it going to be Street Fighter 6? Is it going to be Mortal Kombat 1? Or is it going to be Tekken 8? Now, it isn't official that Tekken 8 is coming out this year. If you look it up, it says end of 2003, maybe beginning of 2004. We know 24. Sorry, did I say 2003? Sorry, I'm getting old, kids. I'm getting old. Anyway, we're gonna either way within, I imagine, 8 months of each other, they're all gonna be out. You know what I mean? And so that is great for fighting game fans such as ourselves. And so I wanted to bring you guys on to say, what one do you think is going to be better? Okay, not the franchise that you love, not the, you know, from what you've seen so far, because we've seen quite a bit of actually of Tekken 8, and it's insanely impressive. Insanely impressive. Mortal Kombat 9, or 1, we haven't seen any gameplay footage yet. And Street Fighter 6, we've had a beta, 3 at least. And so none of them are out yet as of the recording of this video. So I wanted to go one by one. Which game do you think is going to be better? And we're going to start with our guest, Gaming with Glees. What do you think?
Okay, so the way that I look at it when I break it down, I think about what would be best for the widest audience. Right. So the people that are going to pick the game up, what is the public mostly going to say? I think Mortal Kombat is going to come out on the top of that. So I think that they usually have a really great story mode. They have a lot of things as far as the towers and other things that casual players can get into. And they also have the competitive side of it. As far as competitiveness goes, I think Street Fighter is going to take that. So like the competitive scene is going to be the biggest, I think, for Street Fighter. And for the casual audience, I think Mortal Kombat's going to take it.
Yeah.
So what about the whole modern controls that Street Fighter has incorporated to help bring in new players?
As default too. Like,
it's all default. Like they make you have to struggle to put that in back to classic controls. You know? Do you think that'll factor in a little bit, Jay?
I do think it will. I think that a lot of good players are going to utilize modern controls in a way to make their game even more effective. It's almost going to be something that allows competitive players to get an advantage over new players, I think, in certain instances. So I think it might backfire a little bit, especially the way that it works with, in certain situations, you can kind of mash a button and the game will actually decide what you do next. So if it's on hit, your special will come out, and if it's not on hit, it doesn't. Yeah. So it allows for you to be safe without even really thinking or reacting in a lot of instances. And it's something that I think some characters in the game, modern controls will be the best way to play those particular characters.
Like Zangief, right?
Yeah. Something like that where he doesn't need a whole lot of tools. He needs to get in, you know, he needs to do certain things and just throw you, right? So for him, it might be good. For other characters, they're going to probably lose some things that make them really effective, and it won't be as good for them. I think it's going to be very character dependent, but I think it might backfire, and you know, some of the top players are going to be using modern controls.
So you play tournament Mortal Kombat. So you're saying Mortal Kombat's coming out on top as the best game.
I do, yeah. I think overall, as far as, you know, the most widely receptive, most people will say that it's the best. I think the competitive scene, though, I think Street Fighter will wind up being the biggest, have the biggest community, most competition.
Right on. How about you, Kag? What are you thinking?
All right, so I've gotten to, with that beta for Street Fighter, I've gotten to dig deep into a lot of the characters, do more. with them than I had previously did with Street Fighter V. So, and it's kind of hard to say anything about Tekken because I just don't know. I'm going to be heavily into Tekken. I can guarantee you that. They have done some fan service so far. Bringing back Jun Kazama is just
It's big.
huge for me because I love Jun. She was my main for a long time, and then she kind of disappeared. So I think that until we really get a chance to see more of Tekken, actual gameplay, hands-on, a beta, I'm gonna give it to Street Fighter for the moment, and that's temporarily. But Street Fighter has surprised me. You already know, Joe, I'm not a fan of the modern controls. I feel like, you know, I'll be 42 this year, and it was a rite of passage learning those moves and becoming good. It made you feel good too, because you had to take the game to the lab, and when you became good, you were like, all right, I'm ready for this. You know, so I understand bringing in new people and making it easier for them to play. Okay, but I just foresee they're going to separate it. Jay Gleez here, I'm quite sure he'll probably agree with this. On the competitive scene, they'll probably eliminate modern controls and let them, hey, it's all, you know, classic controls. There's not going to be a mixture on the competitive scene. I don't think so. I just don't know. Once again, I mean, they can't, if they don't go backwards, if they keep the gameplay what 11 was, they'll be fine, right? But obviously you want to implement new things. So as long as they go forward, they're going to be great. Mortal Kombat 11 was extremely polished, an extremely amazing game to me. I love the bigger sprites. That was one of the things that with Mortal Kombat, I wanted the bigger sprites on the screen to make me feel like I was in an arcade, and they did that. They implemented that with Mortal Kombat 11, so I thought that was good. So I think one will be good also. But for now, I'm going to go with Street Fighter.
Right on. So we got one for Mortal Kombat, one for Street Fighter. Reggie, where are you falling at?
So, wow, this is kind of a tough and easy one at the same time. As far as Street Fighter is been able to show, you know, what the game plays like pretty much. So you're seeing a lot of new characters, which is, you know, opens up a lot of things for the competitive scene. But when it comes to production values, Warner Brothers and NetherRealm Games, I mean, it's like they put it all in there. They'll do everything to make their game the best with the production values. So Mortal Kombat is definitely going to be my choice as number one because of the production values. If I go back and look at Mortal Kombat 11, Terminator, Rambo, you know, that's a dream come true to put those characters in the game like that. They got their own endings, voice acting. It's just production values are so high, it's hard to look past Mortal Kombat, you know. But as far as like Gleez was saying, though, competitive scene for Street Fighter is going to be strongest, but overall, number one is going to be Mortal Kombat. Now, I would like to add Tekken to the mix, but as far as Tekken, you know, I feel like the gameplay is going to be the same with that game, you know, just more enhanced, you know, more cinematic, as we saw in the trailer when Kazuya hit his son and it zoomed in on the muscle and everything. You're going to see a lot of that in the game, which makes it the gameplay very fast and fun and fluid and cinematic-like. But like I said, Mortal Kombat is going to be number one, easy, just because of the production values alone. I mean, the fighting system in Mortal Kombat 11 was fun, even though I'm not good at it, but it was just well done and it just looks great. So I got to give it to Mortal Kombat, even though I hadn't even seen the new characters they're going to add to the game. You know, I haven't even seen any of them yet, but Mortal Kombat's going to take the crown.
So, all right, I guess I'll either.
It's all up to you, Joe.
Yeah.
You got to see. Yeah, take us over.
And this is an interesting one because the trailer that dropped for Mortal Kombat was super exciting. It was everything you want to see in a Mortal Kombat trailer, besides, you know, not seeing gameplay. I absolutely hated, I think, Street Fighter V. Like, I bought it day one. It put such a bitter taste in my mouth, I could never get rid of it. You know what I mean? When it came out, it was so bad. There was, you know, they did such a horrible job. It was rushed by Sony. Everything was just bad. And I was so mad. And it took forever to even, from what I understand, for it to get really good. And so I went into Street Fighter 6 kind of like, you know, it'll get me to Mortal Kombat, right? But after playing the beta, I was just like, this is really awesome. Like the more matches and the more time I put into it, I started to love it more and more and more and more.
Mm-hmm.
Tekken is super exciting. Like when I look at the trailers, it pumps me up. Like this is the best looking that Tekken has ever looked. It's so beautiful. There's a ton of trailers out there for every guy that's coming out. And so they're working up to their release. It looks really good. And so like it was really hard for me to, and everyone knows I do Mortal Kombat panels. I do all the panels with the Mortal Kombat guys. I'm in love with Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat's my game that I'm better at. But I'm a little hesitant because I know some people have left the studio that were highly involved in the older ones, right? So I'm wondering what NetherRealm did, after all that. And I'm wondering, is it going to come down to gameplay? Is the gameplay going to be as good? Are the characters going to be good? Or, I don't know, like how creatively some of the people that left, how that's going to work out. So at the moment, I'm going to side with Kag, and I think Street Fighter 6 is going to be the bigger one. And I know that seems crazy. In my heart, I want it to be Mortal Kombat, and I hope it changes, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope we can watch this from a year from now, and everyone's like, yeah, Mortal Kombat was the better game. But at the moment, with the story mode that they're putting in, kind of that open world thing, with bringing in, they're like, the promotion's been crazy for this game. Everyone knows about it, even people who don't play fighters. So I'm just like, gosh, man, they're really trying to, win that market, I think. I want it to be Mortal Kombat in the end. Yeah. I do. I really do, because I love that world much better. I love the darkness of Mortal Kombat. I love the fatalities. I love the music and stuff. It's going to come down to gameplay, though, in the end for me. And I hope that, like what I felt with Street Fighter, it was just so good so far. There's so much stuff, And Street Fighter, and it's like, who's going to continue to feed their game? Who's going to continue to, balance it out? Who's going to continue, where like NetherRealm, I felt like really quickly was like, okay, we're moving on, or like, hey, let's release Molina on the last DLC pack. Come on, guys. Like, and everyone had kind of moved on, So
right.
A lot of stuff's going to determine what's going to win at the end. In my mind right now, it is Street Fighter.
Okay, so we're tied. I also want to mention another thing that Street Fighter might have over Mortal Kombat is the character designs. A lot of these characters are like looking like Gen Z folks, so that's going to appeal to a lot of the fan base over the Mortal Kombat characters, I think, in my opinion. Because when I was looking at the characters, I was like, wow, dude, these characters look pretty Gen Z, I would guess. So I feel like that's going to appeal to a lot of the kids that are playing it, man, because seriously, they were really pumped up. I mean, they did a good job on a diverse cast of characters, the way they look and their nationalities. That's pretty impressive. Mortal Kombat and Tekken, I mean, I feel like Tekken has a hard time getting the base roster back. Sometimes they add those characters as DLC. Like they added Lei as DLC. He's been around since Tekken 3. That don't make no sense. It should be a new character. Mortal Kombat, they do a good job adding characters, but I think the base roster that Street Fighter has is actually pretty good. But still, I give it to Mortal Kombat because I feel like I'm a guy who plays with story mode. I'm casual. I'm not tournament. My style is too predictable, so I'll get it handled easily. So I gotta fight the computer and play like that. So
and I think with Street Fighter, it's gonna have a huge push, right? Because it's it's the number one Evo fighting game this year. Okay, it's being pushed by Evo. Who owns Evo now? Sony, right? Sony bought them. So Sony's gonna push and push and push and just dump tons of money into the marketing of Street Fighter. So I think that alone, you're gonna have other games at Evo, but Street Fighter is gonna be like the big one. It's gonna be like the choice of everybody. So that helps a lot. But I love Mortal Kombat, and seeing that trailer and knowing that Molina is gonna be in it day one just gave me like goosebumps, because that's my girl.
Yeah, that's
man.
your main, right? So
right.
And
I didn't see no Baraka in there though, so I'm a little scared.
Because Baraka, he didn't make his debut. Well, Melina didn't make her debut until part 2 also, so did Baraka. But I just don't know. Mortal Kombat is so intriguing to me too, because they're resetting everything, but they're resetting it to like a time before Mortal Kombat 1, but Liu Kang can do whatever he wants.
Well, he's a god, and I don't even think Raiden's in it anymore. So the story is it's gonna be very different. I mean, Shang Tsung looks like to be the main villain as of now. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they just showed trailer, but it looks like it's gonna be pretty different, man. And I'm really happy with the direction they're going with it. You know, so yeah, I'm just excited. I can't wait to play it. I love the story mode, man.
Well, like you said, how the Street Fighter 6 their costumes and their design of their characters are catering to a different generation.
Oh,
they kind of hinted that Mortal Kombat's whole character designs that we know could totally change.
Right, that's true too. Another thing with Street Fighter, sorry to go off the wall with this, but I love the whole hub design. It reminds me of PlayStation Home. You guys remember that?
Old school.
I felt right at home there. No pun intended. But it's like, dude, like I was running around and racing around laps with friends and playing the arcade. Kag, you watched me play Magic Sword and beat it.
Oh yeah,
you know, I love stuff like that, man. So it's very friendly, user friendly. It's fun, and I love that the Street Fighter 6 is going to have arcade mode, because they tried to take it out of 5, which was insane. I don't understand. Fighting it without arcade mode is like, I just can't believe they tried that. Not to have that in there, but it has an arcade mode. I think it's going to have a final boss in it, which is cool. So, you know, I like that they're bringing it back to its roots, and they're adding new things to the game, like the hub, which is pretty much PlayStation Home.
And let us not forget, like, they have arcade machines in there with old Capcom games that are rotating. Yeah. Like, I saw Street Fighter 2, I saw the Knights game.
Yeah, that's what me and Kag were playing Magic Sword.
Magic Sword. So I think they're bringing everything to the table on this one, man. I think that's why I'm kind of voting for that, even though I want Mortal Kombat to come out on top. But what I played with Street Fighter 6 was so impressive that it's. Ooh. What are you thinking, Glees?
The cameo system in Mortal Kombat that they're talking about worries me. Like, I'm cautiously optimistic. Like, I want it to be great, but I know with assists and other things, it can sometimes get a little bit crazy.
Right.
And I'm hoping that they master it and they do it really well. I have faith that NetherRealm can do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I just take a deep breath and like hope that it just turns out well. Like, it's always something, you know, different. Mortal Kombat always turns their game over, and this is something that they've never ever done, really. So they get a little bit of it in the towers, but I think it's going to have to be way more fleshed out than what's in Mortal Kombat 11 right now in the towers. I'm just hoping that they do it right and it's balanced well, and it just comes out, you know, in a situation where it's not broken or isn't too over the top.
Yeah. For me, like, my favorite thing about Mortal Kombat for the last so many years has always been the crypt. Walking around the crypt, unlocking it. So if they do that right, I'll be happy. You know, but you know, we haven't heard nothing about that yet. I guess is it next week? I believe they show first gameplay.
I think it's the 8th.
The 8th.
I believe they're showing it. Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited for that. And does anyone want to add anything else?
I mean,
go ahead, Kay.
Paper, rock, scissors, go.
To kind of piggyback off of what Reggie was saying about the hub, I think the hub was an amazing idea, because one thing that I have an issue with fighting games is after so many matches, right up in here starts to hurt really bad. And having the hub, you can kind of step away from a match but not leave, you know, like the whole thing. You don't have to worry about it. You kind of go do something else, let your hands rest up a little bit, and then come back, which I think is awesome, because it doesn't take you out of the frame of mind of I'm in a fighting game, right? Because like if you turn off a game and just move away from the PlayStation or Xbox, whatever your choice is, you kind of just stop thinking about it, right? You know, you're not in that fight mode anymore. And to set that up, that hub where you're still in the world, you still interact, kind of gets your mind still going. So I'm looking forward to that. And
it was just kind of cool to be playing a match and then step away and look over, see Gleez there, look over, see Reggie, and we're all like hanging out in this area, and like, hey, me and Glees are fighting. I can tell the stream we're fighting for a bit. So then my son and some of the other Media Glitch viewers, they hop on another machine, and it's kind of like we're at an arcade again, and we can hop around and stuff like that. So that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about Street Fighter. And I feel like we've only seen like this much of Street Fighter 6.
Mm-hmm.
And already what I've seen, I would buy it. Like if it was just that. I would buy that game. So just to add that in there. So
I kind of forgot, but I going back to the gameplay though of these games, I want Mortal Kombat. I think they're going to be number one. It's hard to say they're going to stay number one. Let's just go there because look at how compared to when they last were released, Mortal Kombat 11 and Street Fighter 5, Tekken 4. Which one of those guys stayed on top? You know what I mean? Through the whole thing, even though someone came out a couple years after. I feel like Street Fighter 5, even though I don't like the game very much, it turned out to be king because they kept adding content and fixing the game up. And Tekken did the same thing, but I think Tekken kind of did things later than they should. They should have released a lot of those characters in the beginning to get people pumped up, man. Because I would love to talk more about Tekken in this list, but obviously we don't even know what's coming out this year. But right. Tekken's gameplay to a casual gamer is not very friendly at all. It's very intimidating. And I'll tell you, one of the most horrible things you can see as a casual is see a character get juggled through the whole match, not even being able to fight back. And I've seen that happen a lot. So Tekken is for serious players. Mortal Kombat is going to be more for the casual, and they're trying to push more casual for Street Fighter 6, obviously with the button layout. This is the best year to do it. That's why they're trying to bring the casual audience in because that's where the money's at. Tournament people are there; they're always going to be there, but they got to bring that more casual audience in to get interested, to make the most money for what they put out. So, that's all. That's the last thing I wanted to put out there about it. So,
well, I guess what we'll need to do is come back in a year and redo this episode and see which one delivered the most satisfaction, and it might be different opinions, we might all think it's Mortal Kombat, or some of us think Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, who knows. But anyway, in the comment section down below, let us know which one you think is going to be better. Is it going to be Street Fighter 6, Mortal Kombat 1, or Tekken 8? Let us know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to all these guys' channels. They're all good. They're going to give you the good content. And especially shout out to Gaming with Glees. If you want to learn how to play these games, he is the one to watch. He'll show you some moves. He's got some tutorials in mind for Mortal Kombat, at the very least. And so thank you all for being on. And if you guys got anything else to say before we close it out? That's it. We're out of here. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
And soon you will discover that even in this new era, one constant remains. There is always something worth fighting for.